The rainbow trend is huge in the ready-to-wear world, and you add that with a nice jewel tone like this beautiful green here, and you really get a piece that pops. Well, Bernat has a new yarn out called Spectrum, and it combines a really cool roving core, and then it's wrapped around with a neon thread in rainbow colors, and it gives her like a really cool, well, spectrum effect. And I'm going to show you how to put it into action with this gorgeous cables and ladders scarf. Let me show you how. For the ladders and cables scarf, you'll need 6 balls of Bernat Spectrum in color Emerald City. You also need a set of size US 11 8mm knitting needles, or whatever size it takes you to get gauge. And lastly, you'll need a cable needle. For the ladders and cables scarf, you're gonna go ahead and cast on 30 stitches, which I've done here. And then you're going to work the first row. And this is going to be the 1st, the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th row. So I'll just show you how to do the first so you are armed and ready. It's gonna go like this. You're gonna knit 2. There's 1, 2. Then it says to yarn over, but you're gonna go straight to a purl 2 together, so the yarn over kind of has to wrap all the way around. Purl 2 together. Knit 2. And it says to do that little series that we just did twice. So I'm gonna repeat it. So yarn over, and because it's for purl, we have to make sure that it loops all the way around the needle. Purl 2 together. Knit 2. Okay, then you're gonna knit 12. And what these 12 stitches are the setup for where your cable is gonna be. 3, 4, okay, there's 12, so that's going to be what we're going to be working on our cable on later, or at least part of the cable. Then we're going to basically mirror what we did at the beginning again. So yarn over, purl 2 together, knit 2, and it says to do that again, so we're going to yarn over, purl 2 together, and then knit those last 2 stitches. Okay, so we are ready for our second row. So we're going to flip on over. And this is for the second and all alternate rows, excuse me, which is also all of your wrong side rows. So we're going to knit 2. And this is giving you a garter stitch edging. You knit every row like that for stitches. Yarn over, purl 2 together, knit 2. So very similar to the front. Yarn over, purl 2 together, you got to make sure that you get both the roving part and the string part off too. Purl 2, okay, so we're at purl 2 together, knit 2. Okay, now we're to where we're going to cable. We're going to purl 10. And then knit 2, and you'll notice that on the front we knit 12, but then on the back we only purl 10, and that's because The stitch on either side is knit to create a little garter bump on either side. So there's your 10, and then we've knit our 2, and then you're going to go ahead and mirror what you did on the opposite side, yarn over, purl 2 together, purl 2 together, knit 2 twice. So yarn over, purl 2 together, knit 2. Okay, so those rows 1 and 2 are going to take up the majority of your 10 row pattern. When I say that, I mean almost every right side is like row 1, almost every wrong side is like row 2, except for our cable row. So I've worked a full repeat here, and now we're ready to do the second repeat. I'm on circular needles for no particular reason except for I prefer working with them. This is still straight, so don't let that throw you. All right, so we are all set up. I've already worked the row 1 and 2 for the second repeat that I'm on. You can see what the first repeat looks like, and look how pretty it looks in the spectrum with the bright colors popping through. And now we're ready for our cable row, which is going to be row 3 of the pattern. So we're going to start by knitting 2. Again, this gives us our garter border. Yarn over, purl 2 together, knit 2, and it says to repeat that process. So we're going to yarn over, purl 2 together, knit 2. All right, now we're ready for our cable. So this says C10F. So what that means when you're doing a cable 10, that means that the entire cable takes 10 stitches. So you break that in half with how many stitches you're going to put on your cable needle. So I'm going to put 5 stitches, which is half of 10. 4, 5. Onto my cable needle, and it's a cable front, so I'm going to let those stitches just hang out in front, and I'm going to work the next 5 stitches, which for this pattern is just knitting them. And then I let this needle kind of just hang out, and I'm going to pick up this cable needle, and I can just knit right off of the needle. Set that aside, and I have just made the cable. So then we're going to continue through the rest of the row, which is just knit 2, yarn over, purl 2 together, knit 2. We're going to repeat that again. Purl 2 together after yarning over, mention that. And we're going to end this whole row with the last knit 2. And that is the entire row. And you're just going to continue using those skills I've just given you, following the pattern for the entire 10 row pattern. And what you will end up with, as my needle flies off the table, is this really beautiful cable and open work pattern that plays against the neon and the true gem colors. Really pretty and a really great first cable pattern. I mean, come on, look how gorgeous this scarf is. Anybody you make this for is gonna love it. Make sure that you go over to yarnspirations.com to get the pattern for this scarf and many, many more great projects for Bernat Spectrum.